Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. We're getting closer and closer, ladies and gentlemen, closer and closer. And, you know, this is the first time, at least first time that I remember, that we've had a week between the end of the regular season and the playoffs. First time that I can remember. And, you know, it's building the anticipation, especially for Knicks fans. It's building the anticipation. It's good that you got the play-in tournament in the meantime to kind of, you know, give you a little bit of something to watch till the playoffs get here. But during this time, of course, you know, you get people, you know, people start to get antsy and reports start to come out. Earlier today, you know, there was the report, whoever put it out, I don't know, whoever put it out, the report that, you know, back in 2010, LeBron James had it set that he was going to the Knicks, or if it wasn't 2010, before when he was going to the Lakers, you know, he wanted to go to the Knicks, but his wife said she wanted to be in L.A. You know what? I'm so tired of hearing about LeBron James and the New York Knicks. I don't care. I wish people would stop just bringing it up. It didn't happen. It's not going to happen. Let's move forward. No pun intended. That's all I really have to say about that. Just tired of hearing about LeBron and the New York Knicks, man. We're in the playoffs. I just want to rock with that. Right now, the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies are playing on ESPN. The winner of this game makes it to the 8th seed. Right now, the Memphis Grizzlies are up 26-17 over the Golden State Warriors. It's still the first quarter. Got about a minute and 56 seconds left in that first quarter, ladies and gentlemen. But we're not here to talk about the Grizzlies and the Warriors. We're here to talk about the New York Knicks, and specifically about the transition offense of the Atlanta Hawks and how the New York Knicks need to deal with that transition offense. I got a couple of clips I want to show you, and we'll get into some good discussions about that transition offense, because I'm telling you right now, if we don't play good transition defense, this team is going to beat us up the floor, because they have 1,000,001 ways to run transition offense. They can score. They can score in that transition. So we're going to get to it, ladies and gentlemen. And also, the Washington Wizards blew out the Indiana Pacers last night. They're going to be in the 8th seed, going up against the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't give the Washington Wizards a chance, but I'd like to see them win because, you know, I'm in Maryland. So that means the Knicks will be coming to D.C. at least twice so I can go check out the game. So I might be at all 4 games they play the Washington Wizards. I might be at all 4 games they play the Philadelphia 76ers. Tell you that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get here, man. I got my man Cornerstone Kevin in the building. We're going to talk some New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. Going to talk some New York Knicks. Cornerstone, what's popping with you, my brother? How are you feeling?
Partying on the mothership. The mothership's already fueled up. About to land in Madison Square Garden on tomorrow. And be saddled there until next week, man. I'm ready to get this thing popping, because ain't nothing but a party, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
I'm ready to get this thing on the roll, man. And listen, you guys noticed that Kev stopped at the weed shop on his way home again. He got the shades on. Stopped at the weed shop on the way home. You know, just letting y'all know. That's the reason why he got the shades on, man. That's the reason.
That's supposed to be on the down low.
Hey, I mean, you come on with the shades on, brother. It's not on the down low anymore. Everybody knows what's going on.
No, man. It's my persona, man. It's my persona. My persona, AK Star Child. You know, all the P-Funk kids, they all wore sunglasses. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Star
I feel
Child.
you. All right. I feel you, my brother. I feel you, man. Go ahead. Do your thing and love it, man. Do your thing.
You got to party, man. You got to party. Our boys are in the playoffs, man. Let's just get it cracking.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Get it cracking.
Luca Vildoza, ladies and gentlemen. Luca Vildoza, before we even get into everything that has to do with the New York Knicks, And, well, he does have to do with the New York Knicks. Right? But Luca Vildoza, he's in New York. He's here in New York.
Yes, indeed.
Right? And
Yes, indeed.
so here's the skinny on it. He's in New York. He arrived. But he's got to go through COVID protocol for 6 days, I believe it is. 6 days.
Jeez.
Right? And then he can practice. Right? So, I would just say to everybody, temper the expectations about Luka and whether or not he's going to play in the playoffs. It's not going to happen. I wouldn't expect it to anyway.
Yeah,
It's only smart, to just let the guy get here. And, I'm all about throwing people in the fire, but let's not throw them in the fire that quick. Sheesh. I mean, you come off the plane from another country and you get thrown right to the playoffs. No, that's not it. You know what I mean? That's not it. But Luca Vildoza, he is in New York. He'll go through his COVID protocol, and then he'll be able to practice with the New York Knicks. I mean, he will be available, but it's very, he's not going to play basketball. We'll be looking forward to seeing what he can do next year in the playoffs, because we'll be in the playoffs next year. That's all, We'll be in the playoffs next year. Anyway, any thoughts on that, Kev? Any thoughts on about Luca Vildoza arriving in New York?
Well, before I start anything, salute to the chat. We're in the playoffs, guys. We're in the playoffs. That's all that matters. No, when you said the 6 days, that kind of tempered everything, because if he could have practiced right then and there, and shown Tibbs a little something, he probably, I wouldn't put anything past Tibbs not using him. But when you said the 6 days, by the 6th day, we'll not halfway, but we'll have 2 games underneath the belt. So, no, I wasn't really expecting anything yet. Now that he had, with these protocols and everything. Now, with that being said, if the longer the series goes, and if and when we make it to this next round, you never know. You never know, because then he'll have Tibbs will have had a little bit of practice time with him to see if he can actually use him, this year. Because you're right, the key is for next year. But let's say if Payton or whoever, let's say, we need somebody out there. What's not for him to be used? I mean, I was talking with G-Man today, and he made a great point, and I hope he comes on so he can explain a little bit. But from what he told me was, you don't get a guy, pay his contract, and have him come over just to sit out.
I get that. But I think the thing about it,
I forget what G-Man.
The thing about it is that the Knicks had a lot of extra money left over, right? So they had to spend that money. They didn't have to. They could have waited, but they chose and they opted to spend that money. So the money that they spent for him was they paid him guaranteed money up front so that he could buy himself out of his contract. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right. So he can buy himself out of his contract. That way he can come to the States. I think that's what it was about. And then, of course, the 3-year thing is basically, in my opinion, we'll give you a 3-year non-guaranteed contract so we can see what you look like. And then we can also trade you at the draft if we need to. So I think there's a lot that goes to it.
Yeah, I don't know if they do. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it. I think he's with us. I don't think they're going to trade him. I think he's with us.
Well, I mean, if the right trade comes along, anybody can be
like
traded.
you said, we're talking. Yeah, we're exactly. We always talk about those possibilities. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, anybody can be traded. And speaking of the draft, before we get into this breakdown a little bit, speaking of the draft, I'm setting up a little something, Kev, for the draft. Little something. This is, and I'm just giving y'all the skinny right now. Just giving you a little something, a little taste of something right now. But I'm hopefully setting up something in Atlantic City, kind of around your way, I guess. Where we can have a little NBK
It's about
family
3 hours away.
Draft. Oh, okay, it's a minute from you. A little NBK draft.
No. Actually, well, like 2 hours. Yeah.
Okay, a little NBK draft party.
Yeah.
In AC. We'll see if it works out the way that I'm hoping that it works out. But that is the plan. So what I'm saying to everybody out there is please pay attention and look for a link to a survey to come out, because I want to know if you would attend if we were able to set this up. Would you attend? Maybe a day, maybe 2 days. We'll get together, chill, hang, do some podcasting, and watch the draft. So let me know in the chat. I will watch the chat. Let me know if you would attend. But, of course, like I said, there's going to be a survey that comes out so I can find out from you if you would attend or not, see how many people would truly be interested before I decide to make the move. Because I kind of got a place all set and everything. And, of course,
well, I'll be interested. So
around the same time, be on the lookout for this NBK family reunion that we're planning for September, around Labor Day. That's going to be dope. We're going to do some live podcasting. We're going to play some basketball games. We got a lot lined up. Obviously, we're going to be cooking out and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be your typical family reunion vibe, but it's going to be all NBK family. And, of course, for all of these events, if you're a member, you get first dibs. If you're a channel member, you get first dibs. So let's get in. We're going to break down some things. We got Steph that just entered the building, ladies and gentlemen. And, we're going to get to it. So let me get Steph over here. And while I'm doing that, let me check out the chat, see who's in the chat. I see somebody say that, they would, if I did a NBA show every day or once a week or whatever, they would follow it. Something that I thought about. All right, but I'm looking in the chat. I see
Good
the
evening,
Queen's
my
Court.
queen.
See the Queen's Court says she's down. Mike Morgan says she's down. Kevin Bergen said he'd go. So, all right. Just look for the information, ladies and gentlemen. Look for the information to come out. Steph, how you doing? You did a great show today.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Really
behind the scenes, holding me down. Appreciate it.
It was really a great show. I wanted to get into a little bit deeper discussion with you though about the benches, right? Because you talked about the benches between the two teams earlier today on the Queen's Court, right? And I'm going to bring up that graphic in just a second because, the bench for the Knicks, I think, is going to be critical to win this series. We're going to have to step up and step in and play some really good. We need the bench to play good basketball. And they've been doing that for most of the year, right? Especially with Derrick Rose out there, Alec Burks, Emmanuel Quickly, so on and so forth. All right, so I'm going to bring this slide over really quick and then read off some of the stats. All right, this, Steph broke this down on the Queen's Court earlier today. Derrick Rose, he's averaging 14.8 points per game off the bench. 26 minutes. Alec Burks, 12.4 points per game off the bench, 25 minutes. Emmanuel Quickly, 11 points per game in 19 minutes. Taj Gibson, 5.3 in 19 minutes. And Obi Toppin, 4.1 in 11 minutes per game. You got, for the Atlanta Hawks, Gallinari, he averages 13 points per game. Herder averages 12 points per game. He plays 31 minutes. Lou Williams, about 10 points per game. We weren't sure, how much of that was, in L.A. or with the Atlanta Hawks. I tend to think it's probably about the same in both places. And then you got Solomon Hill. He averages 4.5 points in 21 minutes per game. Who do you think, Steph, has the stronger bench of these two teams? And then I want to get to you, Kev, too.
Mm-hmm. I think the Knicks, and I don't think I'm being biased. I think that the Knicks shoot just as well, but we have players that can put the ball on the floor. And in the playoffs, that's important because now you not only can get your shot from the three, You hit the two, you could take it to the basket, you could draw a foul. That makes the bench makes our bench more versatile. Rose and Burke can do that. To a lesser extent, RJ can do it. And lately, I don't know if the Chad or the panel has noticed, Quickly is adding that to his game. I noticed, the last, 5-6 games of the season, he's faking at that 3-point line, and he's going all the way in and banking it high off the glass. And that adds another element to his game. Now, will he feel comfortable doing it? Has he done it enough that he'll feel comfortable doing it in the playoffs? I don't know. But I know definitely if they run him off the 3-point line, he has no problem getting in the lane and putting up the floater. So another reason why I like our bench is I think our bench plays better defense, right? So what I don't think their bench is going to get the points per game they usually get. But even if they do, they're going to give it right back up on the offensive end, in my opinion. We're going to be able to score on them. I just don't think Gallinari, Herter will be able to defend us, especially if we put the ball on the floor.
Okay. Kev, any thoughts about these two benches?
I totally agree with Stephanie. You have legitimately 3 guys that can create their own shot in Burks, Rose, and Quickly. And then you have one monster and one in the making in Taj and Obi that can that gives you valuable minutes at their positions, whether it's the backup center or the backup power forward. I really like this. But also the thing about it is on that Atlanta bench, the only one guy that can play defense legitimately is Hill. Whereas for us, everybody can play defense because that's what Tibbs, installed in that. And then also, if Tibbs decides to, you throw Frank in there as well. And Frank is like 40-something% from 3 and provides, great defense as well. So our benches, I think our bench is 10 times better than what Atlanta's bench is.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you, speaking of the bench, of course, Obi Toppin is on the bench, and there's a question, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? I tend to think that he's going to play. I think he's necessary simply to give Julius Randle a little bit of a breather. I don't know who else you're going to play at the 4 spot if you don't play him, right? Because Taj Gibson is backing up Nerlens Noel. You're probably not going to play Norvel Pell.
Powell.
Right?
Powell.
So who else are you going to play at the 4 spot unless you go small, super small and play, play one center in either Taj or Nerlens Noel, and then you have Rose, Quickly, Burks, and throw someone like R.J. Barrett at the power forward spot or something like that. I don't know. I think it makes sense to go ahead and let Obi play some minutes, at least from the beginning. It's just part of the rotation, a part of what we do. Give Julius Randle that break. I don't even care if he scores. All I need him to do is play defense, grab a couple of rebounds, just to give Julius Randle that breather. And if he does that, to me, I said this yesterday on the Entertainer Show, if he does that, he did his job, and he did it well, right? Everybody has a role to play, and I think that is his role in these playoffs, in this series right here. Steph, what do you think?
The same. Yeah, I said that on the Queen's Court today. He's going to be important because Randall needs rest, right? So if he gets in and he's able to score, get some transition buckets, get some rebounds, to me, that's gravy. If he could come in, play adequate defense, keep the offense moving, and not be a liability during those minutes that he's out there, that's a win for us. Anytime Randall can get extended minutes on the bench and extended rest, that's a plus for us. So I agree with you.
Yeah. What about you, Kev?
Okay, two things. One, Stephanie, you need to send me that shirt in the back of you because I love it. You have to send that to me. Second thing is, if this was January or February, I would be worried. Now, I'm definitely not because I've seen this guy make strides, great strides on both the offensive and defensive end. I don't see him hesitating. I don't see him nervous. When he gets his opportunity, he's making it happen on both sides of the floor. So I have no problem with him backing up Randall because you're right. If he can be productive in those minutes, he's done his job. So I have no problem with him being out there on the floor right now. Now, back in January and February, yeah, of course, because it seemed like he was lost. We were all questioning that. Let's be real. We were all questioning this guy's place on this team. I don't have to question no more. He's the backup to Randall, and he's doing his job.
Yeah. Off the bench as well, Emmanuel quickly, I'm expecting him to be up and down. I think he's going to have some lightning moments in the series. I think Steph said that earlier today. I agree. I think he's going to have some lightning moments, but he's going to be up and down, as he probably should be. He's a young guy, he's a rookie in the league. But one guy that I think we definitely need, obviously Rose, but Alec Burks. We're hearing a lot of talk about Derrick Rose. He's up for sixth man of the year. What is Julius Randle going to do? Should Elfrid Payton sit down? All of these things, but Alec Burks is going to be important, I believe, on this team as another guy. If Randle, they start to double team Randle, which they hadn't done this season. So because they didn't do it throughout the season, I think they're going to do it in the playoffs. I really do. Right? Because Julius Randle murdered them all season long. So I think they are going to double team Randle. And if he starts to get stuck and he can't make things happen, we're going to need Alec Burks. We're going to need his playmaking, his shot creation. It's going to be pivotal, I think. That he show up and he's ready to play. So let me get to you, Steph, in the cornerstone, and then I'm going to get to a phone call.
And in terms of Burke, Sam, I think had he not got injured in the beginning of the season, remember he was on a great run those first, 6-7 games before he got injured. Then he went out for COVID. When he came back from COVID, it was like he didn't even miss a beat. If this guy was playing all season, we would be looking at him as probably the second best player behind Randall. This guy can score. To me, the way he scores, he just has a knack. There's some players that just have a knack for the basket, and he is one of those. I think he's going to be huge for us. And actually, I see Randall. I mean, we need everybody, no doubt about it. But Randall, Rose, and Burke are players that I think are going to come up consistently for us. And the others may come and go. But those three I see as being consistent game in and game out.
Yeah. Do we need him? I don't want to say need him more. Is his performance more critical than RJ's performance?
Yes. Listen, I'm not. Yes. So put it this way. If Burke shows up and RJ doesn't, we still in good shape. We still in good shape. RJ may be up and down. That's okay. Now, if we don't have Burks and we're dependent on RJ and he's up and down, that's going to be a problem. But if you got Randall, you got Rose, you got Burke showing up each and every game, if RJ is a bit up and down, I think we can handle that. That's what I'm expecting from him anyway. Yeah. Okay. If it's not, that'll be a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. All right. Kev?
Yeah. It's a wonder why Utah and Philly, let him go because, they didn't miss a beat or anything, but I'm glad he fell into our laps because this guy can score the ball and he's He is no slouch on the defensive end as well. I don't know what he's shooting, what his percentage is shooting, but Steph is totally right. If he wasn't out for the injury and he wasn't out for COVID, I mean, put it this way, if he wasn't out for COVID, our winning streak probably would have been expanded, because his points is just they come in on time, and they're a difference maker. The guy can score, and I'm hoping, looking towards the future, I'm hoping that he stays with us, for a long while, because the guy can outright score the ball.
Yeah, listen, sometimes players don't work here, they don't work there, and it takes you finding a spot. Right? Finding a spot that, okay, things just fit together for me. And I'm going to tell you something that I think this front office did a really good job of doing. It's something that I always say, right? You don't need to have Hall of Fame players all the time. If you can get players who are at a point in their career where they're playing like an all-star, they're playing like an all-NBA player, because you have players who, for 3-4 years in the league, they play like they're all-NBA players. And then they dip off, right? So they make 2, 3, 4 all-star teams, and then, they kind of fade away. If you can get a collection of those kind of players who are participating at the highest level of their career while they're with your team, you can win with those guys. And I think that's what the Knicks kind of did here. I think that was the chance they were taking with Austin Rivers. Well, Austin Rivers. I think they were hoping that Austin Rivers kind of hit, 28 years old, the beginning of the prime of your career, that, hey, let's see if we get this guy right at the prime and he's now ready to take off. Alec Burks, he's 28 years old, I think, right? So he's right there at the prime of his career. Reggie Bullock is 20. I mean, although Reggie Bullock was here last year, Reggie Bullock is 28. I believe, 28 or 29. And you got Nerlens Noel, who's 26. So these are guys that are hitting their prime or in their prime, and they're performing for your team. So sometimes that's a way that you can get away with not having all NBA super duper stars. You get some guys, and I'm not saying Alec Burks is performing like an all NBA player, but you get a collection of guys that are at the peak of their career, and at the peak of their career, they perform at a high level. And, we'll see where Alec Burks can go.
Yeah. Hey, Sam, I got to ask you a question, because this always boggles me. You mentioned how we had Reggie Bullock last year, and a lot of these players we had last year, and it's like night and day, because last year we were probably ready to get rid of, maybe not RJ, but we were ready to get rid of a lot of these players. And now a lot of them are having, career years right now. It's amazing what happens with no, let me ask a question. Is it really the coach that really, stirs the pot at times? I mean, what it was that Fizdale and Miller do that they did that's totally different from what Tibbs is doing right now?
Well,
I don't know if we got enough time to go through all of the differences.
Right. So the short answer.
A quick thing,
The short answer.
Short answer, exactly.
The short answer. Then let me get to the phone call.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. So the short answer is this, and we talked about. I don't know. I talked about it with somebody, but it's all about the structure. The structure and the consistency. Knowing what it is that you want to do. And having standards, right? Having standards. So one, a lot of people complained. It's night and day between these two coaches, right? With David Fizdale, you never knew who was going to be the starting lineup. You didn't know who was going to be in there. It could be anybody. Someone could drop 30 one day and sit the bench and don't play the next day. You never knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
With Tom Thibodeau, he said, we'll be looking at, we'll be looking at lineups for, 3 weeks into the season. And it wasn't really true. He had his starting group, and that's what he rocked with. And I think that's important, because that group learns how to play with each other. The bench learns how to play with each other. And I know some people complain, oh, Tom Thibodeau's not really coaching. He just has set times that he's bringing guys in and bringing guys out. But that's all about the consistency in the structure, right? A player, in my opinion and in my experience, can play better when you know about what time you're going in. You get your mind set. You get your mind right. Obviously, injuries, things have to change. But you say, okay, I'm going in at this time.
So you think it's a role thing?
It is. It's all about roles. It's about consistency, and it's about the structure. Now, once you develop and you really have it down, you can start to deviate from that. And you can start to expand the way that you play players and the rotations that you use. But it's important that you develop a structure and some sense of consistency. Guys know when they're coming in. They know when they're coming out. They know what to expect night to night. When you don't know what to expect night to night, it's hard. And people can say, well, you're a professional. You got to stay ready. But they're also humans. And humans thrive on consistency. Humans thrive on habits. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Tom Thibodeau did. He developed these type of habits and instilled it in the team. Caller, you're live. What's popping? What's going on, my brother? How are you feeling? It's been a minute.
Yes, sir. You know, I still catch the show, but you know, my loyalties have been divided a little bit because there's so many of you guys.
What's up, AD?
Hey, man.
Yes. Cornerstone. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, I can't call it, man. It's your world, man.
I've
Hey,
been
man.
catching the show.
Listen, you're rocking with MBK. That's what it's all. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So if you with Legion or Florence Tids or whoever it is, that's what it is.
I'm with all of you.
Exactly.
Y'all gonna have to put me on the payroll. For real. But let me pick up what Kevin said as far as the coach. It's always the coach. It starts with the coach. If the coach doesn't set the foundation, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be like a rock that takes off and immediately implodes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I wanted to touch on a little bit. I want what you said, Tim, about the organization, you know, and the players that they went after with Burks and so forth, and getting guys of that ilk, you know, to help, you know, fill out your roster of these important pieces to your roster. I, for years, have subscribed to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there's a lot of guys that's around the league, and Burks and Noel, they're like living proofs of it. If you have the right philosophy, you get a bunch of these guys to commit and play well. My thing is, I don't know if Knicks management was thinking like that, but I'm sure now going forward, that could be a part of the process.
Right.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's true. You know, it's hard to say if they were actually thinking that way. I mean, it seems like maybe they were thinking that way, but it's hard to say if that's exactly, you know, where the mindset was when it came to bringing in these guys. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it, like with Alec Burks, you know, had to do with, you know, who you picked up, you know, guys you put in your front office, and they were familiar with Alec Burks and say, hey, we know he can do this, that, and the third, and he'll fit right into what you're trying to do. Emmanuel Quickly is another one of those guys. Nerlens Noel as well, right, with Kenny Payne and all of them. So, you know, they relied on their connections, and not only their connections, but the intel that they had on players because of those connections. And that's important. I think that's important because you have a certain level of knowledge of how might this guy interact with the team, or how might this guy interact with this specific coach and things like that. So Hey, I think they were smart.
And it was smart on the coaching staff for realizing the role they envisioned Austin Rivers in, as far as being that quasi point guard and can help with the ball handling responsibility. After Randall, when Burks comes in, you notice right before the run, it was him the coach started using as the point guard and alleviating some of that stress from Randall and making Rose more of an attack at the shooting guard kind of sort of.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So players like that are definitely important. And I want to say one other thing because I heard Steph touch on it. If Julius Randle is not playing 40 minutes a night in the playoffs, it's a problem.
I'm pretty positive he will. He'll be playing 40. He'll be playing 40, and Obi will get those other 8 to give him a breather, and that's the only reason why he'll be playing those 8. But yeah, I'm sure Julius Randle will be playing 40.
That's it. It can only be that way because this is not a playoff.
Right. Exactly.
There's no time to remix the meal.
Right. That's what it's all about. You don't have time for all that, man. Yeah.
You don't have time for all that.
That's right,
it's going to be down to eight guys, maybe 9, some nights. But this is what it is. It's that important. But that's all I want to chime in with you guys. I'm always watching this.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you for your time. That's AD, not Anthony Davis. Anthony Dunbar.
Talk to you, AD.
You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to him for always rocking with us. And big shout out to Mike Woodson, man, who sent the big good luck to the Knicks.
Yes,
we would have loved to have Mike Woodson with us. But, he's not with us. He said, he tweeted this out. He said, this was a special group of men I had the pleasure of working with. Best of luck to Coach Tibbs and the New York Knicks in the NBA playoffs. # New York forever. Big shout out to Coach Mike Woodson, man. I miss Woody and would have loved to have him with this group and get a chance to reclaim, what he didn't get a chance to do when he was here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was set for him.
Yeah.
But a bigger opportunity came.
Yeah, but hey, he did great while he was here. Quick update for those who may not be paying attention to it. The Memphis Grizzlies are up 62-49 with 25 seconds left in the first half. Yeah, 62-49. It's definitely surprising to me because I expected Golden State to win. And it's not over yet. Golden State was up double digits against the Lakers, and the Lakers came back the other day and won. Right now, Ja Morant, he has 12 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He's shooting 50% from the field, and he's 2 for 3 from the three-point line. Steph Curry, he's got 17 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Not many people coming through. Andrew Wiggins is coming through for him, though. He's got 9 points, shooting 57% from the field, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Draymond Green with 2 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds. We'll see if the Golden State Warriors can come back. I don't know. It's tough. Memphis, they're a tough, gritty defensive team, man. They're a tough team to play against. So right now, the Golden State Warriors are down 13 points to the Memphis Grizzlies. All right. I want to get into this transition offense of the Atlanta Hawks, ladies and gentlemen, because it is something that I fear of the Atlanta Hawks because they can get out and run. And, the Knicks just can't play around. The Knicks got to have good transition defense against this team. They can do it every way. All right, they can score. They can score and transition off the rebound. They can score and transition off the turnover. They can score in the secondary break. All right, they can score in transition off of the inbounds. All right, so we really got to watch guys streaking up the sidelines with this team. Let me show you what I'm talking about. What I'm bringing up right now, this is the first thing I'm going to talk about is transition off the rebound. And you see right now, Clint Capella just got a rebound. All right, and you see, let me get my pointer up here. Make this thing go. You see Clint Capella got the rebound. You see Trae Young waiting for the outlet pass. And here's the thing. You look in this picture, there's 4 Atlanta Hawks in this picture. And then you got Nerlens Noel. All right, let's get this thing. Let me get this thing going. Let me get my mouse up here. Okay. So boom, you see the outlet all the way up the floor. Look where Trae Young passed it from. Right? Look where he passes it from. He passes it from the New York Knicks free throw line. And look where the ball goes. Somebody flashing, sprinting up the middle of the floor. I believe that's that's Collins. For an easy layup. Not even sure if he got fouled there. That just can't happen, ladies and gentlemen. That can't happen. I'm going to bring this back again. Right? When you look at it here, 4 Atlanta Hawks players, 1 Knicks player. So that means the Knicks got to have 4 guys up the court. And still, the Atlanta Hawks get a transition layup. That just can't happen.
Sim, let me ask you.
That just can't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Sim, let me ask you. Should have Elfrid or whoever the point guard was, should they have been up top with Trae, or what should they have done?
Well, I mean, that wasn't even. I mean, Trae Young got Trae Young got the outlet pass, right? And then you had, and then off of the outlet pass, you had guys streaking up the floor. What's supposed to happen is, you got guys with floor balance. First of all, to me, it's just bad transition defense because you got 4 guys back. 1, and let me see if I can do this one more time. Let me see. Let me stop it.
Okay.
I'm going to stop it. I'm going to bring it back a little bit. And this is going to be blurry, but I'm going to show you guys anyway, even though it's blurry. And this is a cardinal rule when it comes to playing defense in transition. If you pay attention to the Knicks right here, and I know it's blurry, ladies and gentlemen, we're stopping action, so it's going to be blurry like that. But you see, Nerlens Noel, back to the basketball. Julius Randle, back to the basketball. Whoever this is, maybe that's R.J. Barrett, back to the basketball. Elfrid Payton, maybe it's turned sideways. Reggie Bullock, back to the basketball. When you have 4, 5 defenders with their back to the basketball, you can't see what Trae Young is thinking about doing. Because guess what? If they turned and they could see the basketball, somebody gets that steal. Instead, they all got their backs to the basketball. That's just bad transition defense.
You got to keep your eye on the ball and your man, correct?
Well, yes, you keep your eye on the ball, you keep your eye on the man, but when you're in transition, you can't run with your back to the basketball, right? You start with your back. You might start with your back to the basketball, but at some point, at least when you get to half court, you got to turn around so you can see what's happening.
See what's happening.
Right?
Got it. Okay.
If you ever seen a basketball practice, you see guys sprint to half court.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the way to the other side, they backpedal. That's the reason why. Sprint to half court, backpedal to the other baseline so that you get used to turning around and backpedaling so you can see the basketball.
Yeah.
So you can see the basketball. And you just gotta it just can't happen. Let's take a look at another one. Right? This right here. Transition off the inbounds. This is off of an inbounds play. off of an inbounds play. When you look at this play already right here, you got 3 Knicks here. I don't know who shot the basketball. Maybe Barrett, or who knows? Maybe Todd scored. I don't know. Right? As soon as this ball went in the net, though, these guys got to be streaking down the basketball court. Because even here, you still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Atlanta Hawks here. And you got 3 Knicks here. So first things first, let's get back. Right, let's get back. Now, let's go. We get the ball inbounds. Ball goes to Trae Young. Boom. Right up the sideline. Immediately up the sideline. Again, you got guys with their backs to the basketball. Julius Randle, Taj Gibson. Right? Let's see what happens when we go more. Boom. Stops here. Now, I'm pretty sure Tom Thibodeau is going to teach these guys and let these guys know that they like to pass that ball up the sideline. And so you got to be aware and you got to be ready. Right? We got 4 guys back. They have 2 guys back. 2. Herder and whoever that is. Can't tell. And yet still.
It looks like Solomon Hill.
Might be Solomon Hill. And yet still.
Yeah.
They get a 3-point shot off of an inbounds play. They get a fast break, a transition, 3-point basket, wide open for the most part, off of an inbounds.
So those 4 guys should have been backtraveling, right? Those 4 guys there should have had their backs to the basket and been able to contest that shot that hurt.
Listen, they should have been able to. They should have been backpedaling, a couple of those guys. But first and foremost, you should have been backpedaling. But you also got to recognize who is he passing the basketball to, and where is he going? Right? In transition basketball, at least with me, I teach my players, let's get the ball out. Let's get up that sideline. Because if you can get up the sideline, and I'm not talking about dribbling up the sideline, I'm talking about passing it up the sideline. I want my players to dribble. I want my guards to dribble middle, pass it to the sideline. They may not get entirely to the middle. They take a few steps towards the middle, pass it to the sideline. Right? If you got somebody streaking up the middle, that's going to open up the floor for that shooter on the side, on the wing, so that they can get a shot. Right? And that's exactly what they did. I didn't see them have anybody streaking up the middle of the floor, but Herder ran straight to that sideline. Trae Young found him. And the Knicks just weren't ready. Bottom line, I don't think, I don't want to say I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure plays like that, Tom Thibodeau is going to preach to them. You got to be ready because they can get the ball out the inbounds, get it up the sideline, and get a quick shot. Right? The Atlanta Hawks didn't shoot well versus the Knicks from the 3-point line. But if they get shots like that in rhythm, early in the offense, in rhythm, they'll knock them down and we can be hurting off of shots like that. You just can't do it. You got to be able to get back and recognize who the shooters are and who Trae Young might be looking to get or find. You just got to be aware. Next thing I want to look at is the secondary fast break. And this is something that a lot of teams and even a lot of people just aren't aware of, that secondary fast break. But that secondary fast break is very, very effective because the defense a lot of times thinks, okay, we stop the fast break, then they relax a little bit. Okay, so let's look at this secondary fast break. And what you're looking at right now, it seems as though there was a turnover, right? It looks like Herder has the ball right here. So there was a turnover. Trae Young's looking for the ball. And still you see John Collins here, whoever that is over there, and you see Clint Capella getting ready to sprint up the middle of the floor. Right, so they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys here. The Knicks got 3. They got 2 getting back on defense. All right, so, we're aware that they want to get up the floor. You see it come to Trae Young. He dribbles up. Now let's stop it here. Because the Knicks, they stopped the initial fast break. Just not enough numbers for Atlanta to do anything. Clint Capella's over here. He's not going to basket. I think that's Bogdanovich over there on the wing. Right? So Now you got Trae Young. He's going to stop up here at the top of the, not the top of the key, but on the wing. And then you're going to see, this is the secondary break now. Boom. What did they do? John Collins, he comes over to set a little screen, and he kind of slips it. But this is a secondary break. He came in after everybody kind of relaxed. Offense went to a spot. Defense is kind of okay. We stopped them. But we're still kind of out of position. Right? You see Derrick Rose, he's not up here on Trae Young. He's not even guarding Trae Young. He sees Trae Young getting ready to come off the screen, though, so he's getting ready to jump over here. All right, but it kind of has the team out of position. Boom, he slips. Inside for a layup. Secondary fast break. Right? These are all things that I think we've got to be aware of playing against this team. And, of course, they can score off of a turnover. I didn't even do the turnover one because, I mean, that's kind of, I don't want to say basic, but, you turn the team over, you can go get a bucket because you probably got numbers. But those, what I just showed you, off the rebound, off the inbounds, the secondary fast break, this team is good at doing those things. And if we have lapses in our transition defense, we'll be in trouble. And I mean transition defense from the inbounds. We got to be on it. We don't want to let these guys get out and run because that's really playing into their hands and what it is that they want to do. Steph, any thoughts on the transition defense?
Yes. In two of those that you showed, the Knicks had numbers. So what that's telling me is they're getting back, but they're not getting back in position to stop, to stop either a layup or a three-point shot. When you showed the frame, Atlanta had four people in the backcourt. That means most of the Knicks were already in the front court. But it's not about just running and just being somewhere on the court, in the front court. You have to be in position so that you can get a stop. And that's what's happening. The Knicks were back, but they weren't back in position to do anything. Rose playing so far off. Rose could see that there was nobody, that lane behind Collins was wide open. He could see that if Collins slips that's a layup, but he never moved his position. He still stayed. I don't understand what he thought he was going to be able to do there. But even when you ran the play, he was still only one step. He was still only like one step late. But in the NBA, that's a lifetime. One step is more than enough.
Exactly. One step is more. I mean, way more than enough. And this is what I don't understand. Yeah. And I'm not trying to bash Derrick Rose here, but when I look at this play, what I don't understand is why Derrick Rose didn't just go pick up John Collins. Slide up here. Play defense. Look, it's a mismatch. You know it's going to be a mismatch, but that's what happens when you're in transition defense. Sometimes you find mismatches. John Collins actually, when he came up the floor, he was here. And then he came over this way to set the screen. When he was here, Derrick Rose could have picked him up right there. He might have still came over to set the screen, but now you got two defenders on two offensive players. Right? And then you can go ahead and do whatever kind of pick and roll defense that you're going to do. But here, Derrick Rose just kind of, all of this space, once he slips, there's nothing. All of this real estate in here for John Collins to slip, get in here, and get an easy bucket. We're just going to have to do better. And I'm pretty positive that Tom Thibodeau is going to break it down, show them some of the things that, hopefully that I showed here and obviously what the film crew is broken down and make sure that they got that tightened up, man. Screen and roll. We looked at that last night. Transition offense. We looked at that today. Those are some things that I think we really got to tighten up. We don't tighten it up. We don't tighten it up defensively. It could be a long series. I think it could be a really long series if we don't tighten it up defensively.
Yeah.
But I truly think that Tibbs is really is really hammering it in to everything that you just said. I think Tibbs is really hammering it in for them to do those things. So I really don't see a drop off on that. And if there is a problem, I'm sure he'll call that quick timeout to let them know like what the hell's going on, and then point it out to him. So I think I honestly believe that we're going to be ready. Tibbs is going to have these guys ready.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen ready, but you can prepare, but then you got to be able to execute. And the Knicks all season long, they've been able to execute. They got to be able to execute on this level now. Derrick Rose was asked earlier today, does he think the Knicks have another level to jump up? And he said, we got to. Ain't no choice about it. We got to. If not, then we lose. We go home. You know what I mean? So they got to have another level to jump up. They tried to get Derrick Rose. I don't know who it was who asked the question. They tried to get Derrick Rose to talk about, the keys to beating the Hawks. And he was like, I can't really talk about that here. We got to make sure we go out and play hard. If we don't, we'll get beat. You know what I mean? So I can't talk about that here. Obviously, they're not going to give up any strategy.
That was probably Berman trying to get that.
Berman's always on his thing. Did you all see the interview yesterday with Elfrid Payton?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna reserve. I'm not gonna speak my mind on that.
Go ahead, speak your mind. Say what you got to say.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna fall for that trap. It is truly a trap, and I'm not gonna fall for it. Next question.
Can I get a summary?
What are you talking about, Kev?
You give the summary. You give the summary. I saw it, but I have my own thing. But
okay.
Yes, okay.
So,
you give the summary.
So they were asking him questions about his play, right? And his confidence, and if he feels confident, things like that. I don't remember who it was who asked the question, but they asked him if he's confident, if he feels confident, and he was just like, I'm confident. And just kind of left it there. I'm confident. Somebody else asked him about his minutes dropping, and if he thinks he's if his minutes dropped, and how he feeling about his play and stuff like that. And he was basically like, we're winning basketball games, so I guess I'm doing good. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing, something like that. He was, and then he gave his little Elfrid Payton chuckle, after each question that he answered. You know what I'm saying? So, so what is it, Kev, that you say you're gonna reserve? You don't want to say. I want to know what it is that you got to say.
You know what?
What else did you expect him to say?
My man is coming in the building. I'm gonna let him answer. I
just want to know what else did you?
I want him. G-Man, answer for him. First of all, good evening. Welcome to today.
I was about to say, can I get a hello, good afternoon?
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
You know what I'm saying? You come in the building and somebody hit you in the back of the head and you ain't even made it. You got one foot doing, one foot outside.
If you don't talk about what we talked about, I'm going to hit you on the back of the head. So go ahead and say what you were saying, man.
What was the question? Let me get the question at least.
We're talking about Elfrid Payton's his press conference.
So I didn't see the press conference, so I don't know what the premise of the question is. How about that?
How did we feel? We just talked about it in the car, man. See, that's what I'm talking about. That Geritol. He's got to get that Geritol. All right, you know what? I'll talk about it.
There you go.
This
is what I'm gonna do. Hold on. This is what I'm gonna do. Okay. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and play the press conference with Elfrid Payton. All right. And then that way, those who haven't heard it can hear it, and then we can give some thoughts on it after that. All right. So this is yesterday's press conference. Yesterday's press conference after practice. Elfrid Payton.
Raise your hand if you have a question. I'll unmute you. DJ, Knicks Digital.
Hey, Elfrid, first playoff game coming up. How has the intensity and focus level in practice been over the past 2 days?
Every day it just keeps getting going up. Coach is doing a good job of preparing us. All the coaches, honestly. we know what's at stake. So every day is getting more and more intense.
Ian Bagley.
Elfrid, just a challenge Trae Young presents for you guys, especially on the perimeter. How much of a challenge does he present to you over the course of the series?
He starts the offense. They kind of go as he goes. It's going to be a team effort, as always, like I always say, going against, good players. But I think we'll be ready.
Rebecca Harlow.
Elfrid, you've seen the growth of this team between last season and this season. To get to this point after all the hard work that you guys have put into this thing, what does it mean to you to be in this moment now, attacking the playoffs with this group?
It means a lot. It means a lot. Like you said, we've been through a lot. We work hard. We kept chipping at it, and finally seeing some of the fruits of our labor. But we still hungry. We still feel like we got a lot more to do.
Steph Bondi.
Hey, Elfrid. Confidence-wise, where are you right now? Obviously your minutes have gone down in the last few games. Just where are you at mentally with you and your confidence?
I'm confident. I work on my game, so I'm confident.
Steve Popper.
And he smiled. Did he smile?
Taj was just talking about RJ, but I guess it would apply to you too, as somebody who hasn't been in this situation before. He said that when you struggle, when you have your ups and downs, that being in New York kind of braces you for that, builds you up for that. Do you agree with that?
Ask the question again. I'm sorry.
Does being in New York, playing in the pressure of, in the attention of New York, does that help you when you're having struggles or shots aren't falling, things with criticism comes?
I guess. I don't really know what you're looking for. I'm sorry. I ain't trying to be rude. I just don't know.
Mark Berman.
Hey, Elfrid. Obviously your scoring averages are dipping. How do you just assess how you've been playing? Obviously, you bring a lot of intangibles in defense that Thibodeau talks about all the time.
I assess my playing about how my team is doing, and we've been winning. So, and we're in the playoffs.
Thank you, Elfrid.
So there you go.
That was painful.
That
was painful.
So Kevin, what are you mad about? What are you mad about with the interview?
That was pulling teeth. I'd rather you start with Steph first, but that was pulling. That was literally pulling teeth.
But what do you want?
Everybody's interview. You listen to everybody else's interview. He just gives these straight out answers like he's disconnected. That's what I'm getting out of him. It seems like he's checked out.
Hold up.
He's checked out.
What did you? No. Answer my question.
Don't leave me out there. G-Man, don't leave me out there. Do not leave me out there. And he knows exactly what he's talking about. Do not leave me hanging.
Answer my question. Hold up. Answer my question. They asked him if he's confident. What did you want him to say?
Give a little bit more. Yeah, I'm confident.
Like what?
What's that telling you?
He said, I'm confident. I work on my game. I'm confident. What are you? Elaborate about what?
Listen, I get more.
Okay, Kev,
I get more out of.
Okay. Hold up. Kev, are you confident about your game?
I'm very confident about my game. Manuel quickly gives a better.
No. Answer my no. Hold up. Answer my question. I asked you a question. Are you confident about your game?
I'm gonna get you, man.
No, answer my question.
I'm gonna get you.
Are you confident about your game? Are you confident?
Yeah.
Answer my question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I'm confident about my game because I work hard. I put in the work, and the results speak for themselves. Not lately, but it speaks for themselves.
So he just said the same thing you said. He said, I'm confident. I put in the work. I'm confident. What else you want him to say? Now, let me ask you. That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said. Okay, so now they asked him, how do you feel about your play? And he said, My team is winning. He said, I base my play on how my team is doing. My team is winning. We're in the playoffs. What do you want him to say?
G-Man, I'm going to put...
I just don't know. What do you want him to say? I actually liked his answers.
I will never put you on the witness stand.
I actually liked his answers.
You know why you like his answers? Because you don't want to look like a fool because of his recent play all season.
No, I like his answers because he's not giving the media what they're looking for. They're looking for something. They're looking for something. So he's like, you know what? My focus is on this team winning basketball. I'm going to keep it to that.
Why is it that every other Knicks player from Randall all the way to Quickly could give answers of substance, and this guy only give out yes, no, I don't know. I mean, come on.
So I think
because they didn't ask him the same questions either. They didn't ask him the same questions. If they asked Julius Randle, do you feel confident? I guarantee you he says, yes, I feel confident. I work on my game.
I think for Payton's interview, he went into that interview knowing. Have you ever watched a post game interview when somebody that should have been or perceived to be the star or perceived to be a person that has a definite impact on the game, they didn't play well, and going into the interview, you're gonna get these tough questions. Hey, what's up with your game? You miss X play, you miss this play, you miss that play. You know that going into the game. I think because of all the I won't call it negative publicity, but all the people calling Elfrid Payton out for the way that he's played all season, he knew this going into the game, and he knew that anything he said would be taken out of context, and that would have been the story. It wouldn't have been the Knicks prepping for the playoffs. It wouldn't have been how long we've been out of the playoffs, whatever. You say one little thing out of the way, and we're going to put in that innuendo and whatnot. So, you keep your answers short and concise. Hey, are you having a good game? Yes. Next question.
Okay. All right. Now, Stephanie and Sim, I want to in the chat. I want to be the first to tell you that G-Man is a phony. Not talk about that driving. All right. He told me that he's checked out. He's checked out.
So, but
go ahead and deny it.
Listen,
go ahead and deny it.
That was not the question. The question was based on what Elfrid Payton, what was his answers during the interview. I didn't see the interview. I didn't know what the interview was until Sims just played. Now, if you had asked me a different question based on the interview, I'd have given you a different answer. But the question was, see, this is what happened. I told you to stop wearing them sunglasses at night. That's the problem right there. So the Elfrid Payton, I think he did a good job in protecting the integrity of keeping the New York Knicks playoff run the story and not make Elfrid Payton the story. That's important because just like you got the head coach for the Hawks to come out and say what he says during his interview, and that's all people are talking about right now, the $25,000 fine. That's not the story. What are you doing to get your team ready to play against the Knicks in the playoffs? That should have been the story, but that's not what we're talking about. That's what the media does. They don't care about what your intent was when you answer a question. They don't care how you answer the question. What they're concerned about is I can take this little snippet that you said, those little 3 words that you said out of a 15-minute interview, and they're going to make that the story. And we continue to play that. That's on a loop back to back to back. Every SportsCenter highlight, every highlight that you see on ESPN, it's on Twitter and everything else. And then you have to defend that instead of talking about what the actual real topic of conversation is, which is the Knicks playing the playoffs.
I need a drink right now. I need a serious drink right now. Literally, I need a serious drink.
It's just another thing that some people like Cornerstone Kev want to try to bash the guy about. He did nothing wrong in the interview.
Let me tell you something right now. G-Man is a phony, and that's how I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that because this is not the same G-Man that I was talking to on my way home. I'll leave it at that.
But did you guys talk about this interview on your way home?
Yes, we did. I did talk about it with him.
Josh, what's going on with you, bro? I guess Josh froze up. I don't know. I guess Josh froze up. He didn't even get a chance to say anything. Let me get to the super chat really quick, and then we can get back to I guess talking about Elfrid Payton if that's what Kev wants to do.
I never I wanted to.
Big shout out to Ian Clark. Thank you for the super chat, my man. I definitely appreciate you. Mr. William 1072, he said, the true problem is with Atlanta is when Julius plays point forward with Bullock and quickly. Spreading the floor makes it doubling Julius impossible. That is a good point. That's a very good point. When you have Julius Randle, Alec Burks, Reggie Bullock, Emmanuel Quickly, and then, of course, you're going to have either Taj Gibson or Nerlens Noel on the floor. It almost does make it impossible to double Julius Randle unless you're going to double with, whoever's guarding Nerlens Noel, which wouldn't be smart because then Nerlens Noel is going to dive to the basket and Julius Randle is going to find Nerlens Noel diving to the basket. Right? So it does. When those guys being able to shoot, it makes it very tough to double Julius Randle, especially when they're making shots.
Right.
So we'll see what the Atlanta Hawks decide to do. But Kev, I'll let you continue. Go ahead.
Listen, the only thing I'm going to say about Elfrid Payton, I'm going to say two things. Number one, we cannot afford to be in a deficit when he is on the floor. And we've seen it, but we've seen it happen. We see when he's come on the floor and then Rose comes in, we're down like 8 or 9 points. Then when he's in the third quarter, we'll be down another deficit and then Rose comes in and then, we'll either win the game or, we'll lose. We can't have the slow starts.
Obviously, we'll either win or lose.
We can't have the slow start.
Right. I don't think that's the case, though. I mean, even you can't say every time Elfrid Payton plays the game at the end of the first quarter, we're down, or by the time Rose comes in with 5 minutes left, we're down.
Why not?
That second team.
Why not? That's what I've been seeing.
No, hold on. Can I jump in there, Steph? You saw that when the Knicks went on that 6-game West Coast trip and they played those tough teams. Okay, you seen it in Houston, right? And then they played Memphis, they played Phoenix, but they played the Clippers, right? But in that 9-game winning streak, did you see it? No,
I'm sure there was some.
I'll answer it for you. No,
I'm sure there were some games where we were being tested and everything. I'm sure there were some games where we were being tested.
The answer is no. The answer is no.
Well, you know what? Then I would like to see those 9 games. I like to see those 9 games of where he was on the floor and then Rose came in when we were down. I like to see those games. Say again?
You saw the games.
I don't remember. I don't remember. I'd have to see him.
Listen. Even if that is the case, the Knicks have been able to overcome that to the tune of 41 wins per game and 4th seed. Even if that was the case, even if it happened every single game, the Knicks have been able to overcome it. Even if we're down, you can't say we're down just because of Payton. It's nobody else's fault on that floor in that first team. If we're down, it's only because of Payton. I don't think you can say that. I don't think you can say that.
You can't,
listen,
Kev.
I'm not disagreeing with anybody who says that Payton is not playing well. He's not.
Not at all.
I'm not disagreeing with anybody who says we need a lead guard and that Payton is at best is a second team guard. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. What I'm saying is for this team, the way it's presently constructed, the role that he has is fine. Because who else are you putting there? Not putting Frank as a lead guard.
I'm not asking you to.
Okay, I understand. If you put Rose there, now you're playing Rose the first, the third. Who's on that second? It just throws everything off at this point. And right now, everybody knows the chemistry is set. Everybody knows where they're going to get the ball. If I cut to this spot, this is going to happen. You start mixing things around right now, we don't have that type of chemistry with whoever we may try to mix around. Now, in the fourth quarter, we kind of used to it because Tibbs kind of mixes it up in the fourth quarter. That being said, He's playing 12 minutes. I mean, he went from 30 to 20 something. He's down to 12 minutes. So Tibbs is also seeing that he's not playing well and is reducing his minutes down to 12 minutes. And we're still going to sit here and say in those 12 minutes, he's wrecking the team, despite the fact that we won 41 games and we're in the fourth seed. I just think it's just an overreaction to his bad play. I'm not saying he's not playing bad, but I think we're overreacting to his bad.
And the bottom line is his job is just like Obi Toppin's job. It's just reversed, right? He starts the game and is reversed so that you can preserve Derrick Rose to finish the game. That's the reason why.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute.
Hold up.
Okay.
Listen, Kev. You got to listen. You got to listen.
All right.
Because if you start Derrick Rose and you play in the first 6 minutes, right? And then you bring him back like a normal starter, then you bring him back 6 minutes left in the second quarter and he plays out. And then you start in the third quarter, right? Now you're getting to the point in that fourth quarter where, maybe Derrick Rose doesn't have as much energy. Maybe he doesn't have the same amount of legs. So he's using Elfrid Payton to buy time. I'm buying time for Derrick Rose. That's the reason why you're some of the crust of your minutes, the crust of your game, Derrick Rose is out there. He's buying time. Just like Obi Toppin, when he plays for Julius Randle, he's buying time.
But
at least right now with Obi.
When have you heard me throughout this whole thing say that I want to change up? I understand you if it's not broke.
Just explaining it to you.
I know, but I never said that I wanted a change in the starting lineup. I never said that.
Just explaining it to you.
I just want. I understand. I understand. G-Man, I'm telling you, I'm going to be like Darth Vader and choke you, through the screen and everything. Please, give me your thought. Give me your thought right now. Give me your thoughts right now on it.
Elfrid Payton?
Yes. So
I agree with exactly what Sim just said. Elfrid Payton has a role to play on this team, right? He may not be producing from an offensive standpoint the way that people want him to produce. So if anybody that watches Elfrid Payton play ball, you have to understand that he is in the point guard position, but he is not the person that controls the offense. The offense runs through Julius Randle. Don't get it twisted. That's why every time we come across half court, he passes the ball off to Julius. And then he goes and does whatever it is that he's doing at that point, right?
Yeah.
And what makes him stand out, I think, what highlights failures is when you actually get a wide open three and you shoot the ball and you shoot an air ball, that doesn't look good for you. You know what I'm saying? Or if you drive into the basket and you don't convert, you're missing layups, then that doesn't look good. And I can understand how people can tie one to the other. But Elfrid Payton is in a point guard position, but he's not the person that's controlling the offense and the way the offense is flowing on the floor.
Yeah, when he gets to the paint, he's got to convert. Because he can get to the paint better. I won't say better. I won't scratch that. He has the ability to get to the paint and convert, and he hasn't been doing it in these past few games. So that's why I was saying that I don't want us to get off to a slow start when he's playing.
I think it's easy for people to associate one with the other when we're talking about slow starts. But Elfrid Payton is not the person that's making Bullock and Randle miss jump shots. That's not him. They're not shooting the ball well. So when you don't shoot the ball well, that changes your strategy when you're playing from behind. So when Bullock and Randle and I'm not even going to say Noel because we really don't.
RJ.
Every once in a while, RJ, exactly, RJ. So when those three are having a bad shooting performance in the first quarter of the game, and then we have to play behind, then that kind of changes your strategy a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for people to single out, and we forget all that, right? We forget that in the first quarter of the ball game, some guys are going 1 for 5, and then somebody else is going 1 for 8, or whatever the case may be. But as soon as Elfrid Payton touches the ball and shoots, he just does things in a very theatrical way. I got a wide open three. We move the ball movement is going on. Payton gets the ball, shoots the jump shot, and shoots an air ball. Oh my God.
And everybody groans.
This is why we down.
As soon as you see Payton, it's like, oh my God, they about to get on a fast break. Here we go.
friend once told me every time Elfrid attempts a three, an angel gets his wings.
but see also, but along with what you're saying, G-Man, is what people do not get is there's just other semantics throughout the basketball game, right? So when he goes out and Rose comes in, and you start this, and maybe you see things look different, you also got to think about who else is out there on the floor, right? Exactly. Who came in for the Atlanta Hawks or whoever they're playing, right? Did Trae Young leave out the game and Derrick Rose came in the game?
Right.
Right, because that makes a big difference. So you still got to look at those type of things. You got to look at those type of things, so people are always going to, listen, it's going to be like that with the Knicks no matter what. Someone's going to get the finger pointed at them. When Elfrid Payton is gone from this team, there'll be somebody else.
There'll be somebody else, yeah. Facts.
There'll be somebody else.
That is a fact. I think, we, and I always say this, right? And I think that, as basketball fans, we all have the people that we like to root for. We all have the people that we like to root against for whatever reason. But I think we need to be consistent and fair when we're talking about these players, right? So at the same clip that we crucify Elfrid Payton every time that he throws up an air ball or he drives to the paint and misses a layup, when he has a game that he has a 20-point game, we don't talk about that.
Nope.
We don't talk about that.
No, this is what happens when he scores 20. No, hold on. No, Kev. No, I don't want to hear it. Hold on.
No, I give him his flowers when he does that.
Okay, cool.
I give him his flowers when he does that.
Listen, when he scores 20, he still sucks, though.
No, I do not.
That's what we hear. He still sucks, though. But anyway.
He's doing more for our team than Frank is at this point.
Now, why do we have to bring Frank in?
I'm just saying, he's doing more for our team.
And if you want to get real technical about it, you see Tim's trying to incorporate Frank in a lot of this.
Kev,
listen.
I'm just saying.
That show, did you see the show that Sim was on with the entertainer?
Yep.
The entertainer, he was on point. He said, if Frank tie his shoe in a double knot, people are so excited. Oh my God, did you see what he was able to do? And it's true. It is so true. And then somebody else, Payton scored 24. It's about time. It's about time.
People are getting their things confused with me and my Frank, my love for Frank. All right. I see Frank hasn't been playing a while, so I'm not going to just beef him up and everything. All right. I've made the extension. Shut up, G-Man. I've made the distinction that if he's not getting my loyalty is to the New York Knicks, not to one player. That's one thing that Ron from Cleveland has taught me. Be consistent with the Knicks team and not just to one player. Shut up, G-Man.
You need somebody to teach you that. Oh boy. Anyway. Listen, with the Frank Hive, that's the best double knot I ever seen in my life.
Oh, that was so funny.
Josh, what's popping with you, man? How you feeling, man? 2 days away. 2 days away from the Knicks playing their first playoff game since 2013, man. How you feeling?
Can't wait. I'm very, very excited. Excuse me from earlier. My internet kind of wet the bed, so I had to fix that and get it all situated before I came back on. But I just want to chime in about this Elfrid topic. I just want to say that interview was a great interview. Listen, we all can agree Elfrid Payton's not playing well, and he's definitely not giving anything that we want to see on the court, especially moving into the playoffs. And everyone, he is a bridge to Derrick Rose in that second unit. But that was a phenomenal interview. Like your players out there, the media's asking him questions, trying to get him riled up, trying to cause some controversy in the locker room before playoffs. And he just was deflecting things like Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? Avoiding that question. And I think it was a great interview. That's what you want your players to say in situations like that. They're not playing well themselves, but the team is winning. So I feel, good because my team is winning. And that's all that matters. That's, something great. I don't know what else you want to hear from him, Ken. Like, what else do you want him to say? The second thing that I want to say about Elfrid Payton is I still think he can help us. I really do. Like you guys were talking about, he gets to the paint relatively easy compared to everyone else on the team. It's just that he can't finish. You know what I'm saying? If he can just get those buckets to go down, we're talking 14 points from Elfrid Payton because he gets to the rim with relative ease. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when we play the bigger centers, he gets his shot blocked. We don't have to really worry about that with Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I think Clint Capella, he's going to grab his rebounds. But at the same time, I feel like Elfrid Payton can finish against Atlanta compared to those other teams with bigger centers. So this guy can definitely still help us. I believe Thibodeau thinks he still can help us. And to be honest, that's all that really matters. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Elfrid Payton brings moving forward in the playoffs. And besides, one last thing, Steph, the thing that no one's talking about, the guy is only making $5 million. I'm not expecting someone that's making $5 million to score all the points in the world. You know what I'm saying? Now, I get it. There is something, you got to score something and give something. But I'm not depending on Elfrid Payton to score 20 points a game. That's not what I'm depending on.
All right, listen.
Fans just throw too much on him. You know what I'm saying?
Listen. All right.
I just want to say to piggyback off of him, if he's aggressive like that, he could potentially get Trae Young in foul trouble. Even if it's just 1 foul, 2 fouls, that helps us.
Yep.
As well. And not even that, even if he doesn't get in foul trouble, he has to guard him. He has to work. And that helps us as well.
Steph, Sim, Josh, G-Man, all I'm asking of him, of Elfrid, is just to exploit his matchup against Trae Young. Because I agree with all of y'all. He is better than what he's showing. All I'm asking is that he exploit that matchup. Use your size on offense and defense. Just D the hell out of him. That's all I'm asking of Elfrid Payton. That's it. That's it.
Can I just say, this is where what Josh is saying comes into play. Even if no matter how much money you make, you got to go out, you got to play your game, you got to give what you have, right? You can't just be I'm $5 million, I don't have to. However, that being said, I don't know about exploit the match. I mean, Trae Young's making what he's making
because of his size. He's not a great. Trae Young's not a great defender. He is not a great defender. So at Elfrid Payton's size, he should be able to get right. That's all I'm asking.
He can make him work, but I don't think he can exploit Trae Young. Right. I just don't think he can. But I'll say this to you, Cornerstone. Then I want to get to some other questions. I'm going to steal some questions.
My name is Star Child.
Okay, Cornerstone.
Oh, my God, switching it up.
I'm going to steal some questions from the Entertainer Show, but I'll say this, and I said this on the Entertainer Show. I got Elfrid Payton as my surprise player in this series. I think the break is going to do him well, help him clear his mind, hopefully get some energy back, and I think he's going to be a surprise player. He's going to help us to win some games in this series. That's just what I think. Now, let's move on from Elfrid. Let's move on from Elfrid, Star Child. I want
to hear what the panel said. What did the panel say? What did the panel say? When you said that, what did the panel say? Did CK and all them agree with you?
Actually, CK agreed.
Okay.
All right, and,
cool.
Everybody else was just like, we hope so.
Okay, cool.
So, there we go.
Cool.
Right. And Isaiah was in there and said that Elfrid Payton pays my bills. You know what? I got the check the other day. So, yeah, there you go.
And I do agree. With you, what I was saying earlier about people just going in on Elfrid Payton, like taking it overboard and everything like that. Elfrid Payton he's the starting point guard in the team that's in the 4th seed. That's a fact. That's legitimately a fact. No one can say anything to go against that. He is the starting point guard on a winning team. So just get off Elfrid Payton's back. He's not the reason why we lose games, and he's not the reason why we win games. You know what I'm saying? But he's definitely not the reason why we lose. He's still a piece that we can use moving forward.
So let me ask you this, and I'll start with you, Kev. Who's your surprise player of the series?
Ooh, my surprise player of the series. I'll say quickly. Because I'll say quickly. Reason why I know, if and when Frank gets in, I know what he can do. Quickly, this is his first playoff.
When you
Surprise. Well, y'all thought I was going to pick Frank? Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, what do you mean you know what Frank would do?
No, we can do. I know what
Frank's first time in the playoffs too.
Right.
I know what he's capable of. But who's going to get the most run? Who's going to get the most run quickly? So that's my man. And he's going to be the one that he's going to be my surprise. I think he's going to light it up from 3, and I know that he's going to drive and every. That's my surprise. You asked my surprise.
Okay,
That's it.
quickly.
Get
Okay,
up,
that's your
G-Man.
surprise. All right, Steph, who's your surprise player?
Yeah, I would say quickly as well. I don't think any of us is expecting. Well, I shouldn't say we're not expecting anything from quickly. If he doesn't play well, I think people would be like, well, okay, it's his first year. I'm not sure how consistent he's going to be, Sam, but I do think throughout this series, he's going to hit some big shots for us. Even if he only scored 6 points, 3 of those points is going to be a big shot for us. And I could definitely see him hitting a shot to seal a win for us. I could definitely see that easy.
Yeah. Okay. G-Man?
So I believe that my surprise player for this series is going to be one Mr. Alec Burks. And I think it will be to the fact that we don't know what position or what role he's going to play right now. But I think that he is versatile enough to be able to come to the game and be impactful for whomever that needs to be spelled. And he's just coming off the injury. He's shown flashes that he's back. I don't want to take that one small game sample size and say, yeah, he's back. But I do believe that he's going to create a matchup problem for somebody during this run. I expect for him to have a huge impact on this series that we got against the Hawks.
Okay. Josh?
I'm going to go with Obi Toppin. I'm going with the rookie. I believe, a lot of people were talking about we need Obi to step it up a little bit just to give Randall a little bit of time, to rest and things like that during the course of a game. I still think in the playoffs that, Randall's going to get his time no matter what because his team is going to need him. However, when those small minutes that Obi Toppin comes in the game, if he's able to give us just like 8 to 10 points, you know what I'm saying? That'd be so huge for this team. That'd be so huge. And he's trending upward. He's going upward.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
he is.
He looks a lot more comfortable on the floor. And I think he can exploit some matchups against Atlanta. So I'm gonna go Obi Toppin.
Especially on the defensive end too. He's really made strides on the defensive end. He's more aware, on that side of the ball.
Well, not from the clip that Sim showed yesterday, but
yeah, he was bad the next day.
Which game was that? Which game was that?
Last time we played Atlanta, Sim showed the clip yesterday of
he didn't look
Knicks,
good.
the screen and roll.
Well, I'm sure he's been drilled about that. So
he is getting better. Yes, he is getting better.
Drilled.
Okay.
The one thing I will say is the further that we are in the playoffs, I think our players will become household names as well. So that's another thing.
Okay. Kev, let me ask you this. A player that you feel may disappoint in these playoffs.
Go ahead and say it. I already know what you're thinking. Go ahead and say it.
I'm gonna give you time. I'm gonna give you time to think. I want to answer somebody in the chat real quick. I want to give you time to think. This is for AO Stat. I think that's his name. AO Stat. I want to answer his question real quick. He said, "I'm waiting for y'all to name all these good games that Elf had." All right. Let's do it. Let's name a couple of them. All right. Against Milwaukee, 27.7 assists. Against Cleveland in another win, 14.7 assists. Against Toronto, we took an L, 14 points, 4 assists. Against Indiana, another win, 19.5 assists. Let me see. Against Atlanta, 14.5 assists. Against Utah, another win, 22.8 assists.
Wow.
All right. And those are in wins. Those are in wins, right? When we had a 2-game win streak, a 5-game win streak. Now we took a few losses, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 12 points, 5 assists, 15 points, 4 assists. All right, let me see. Let's go to a stretch where he was in February, around January, February. All right, against Chicago, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Against Portland, 22.7 rebounds, 4 assists. Against Miami, 18 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. Against Washington, 12 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. Against Houston, 15 points, 3 assists. Against Atlanta, 12.7 rebounds. Against Orlando, 13 points, 5 assists. Against Minnesota, 11.7 assists. Against Golden State, 20 points, 4 assists. Against Detroit, he was out for a little while. He was inactive, didn't play. He was out for a little while. 20 points, 4 assists, 4 steals, 6 rebounds.
But
So,
in the words
anyway.
of Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately?
No, listen,
But that's
I
what
get
we're
that.
saying. He's not
That's
playing well.
We get that. What he asked me is to name some games that he played well. Against Minnesota, 17 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. Against Detroit, 11 points, 9 assists. Against Memphis, in another win, 12 points. Well, he didn't have any assists in that game.
We would take that right now. Any of those stat lines we would take right now.
Against Toronto, 11 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Against the Lakers, 20 points, 2 assists, in a win. And right now, I just named Memphis, Toronto, Lakers, Detroit. I just named, I'm not always saying win is a win, but I named a bunch of them where we won the basketball game. His last decent basketball game, though, was against Memphis. 10 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. That's the last decent game.
I would like him to increase his assists. That's all. I like him to increase.
He doesn't handle the ball like that.
I was just answering Ayo Stutter. That's all. I just wanted to answer Ayo Stutter. He asked me to name some games.
Ayo Stutter.
That's his name. He asked me, so I'm answering some of them. But anyway, a player that you think could disappoint.
You know what? I don't think any player of ours is going to disappoint. I really don't, because I think Tibbs has these guys ready. Even Elfrid, I don't think he will disappoint. I think they're locked in. I think they're in for a hell of a playoff run. So I can't answer it. I don't think anybody will.
Okay, Steph, one that you could disappoint. You don't have to say that they will. Just there's a possibility that this guy could disappoint.
None. I really don't.
Okay.
Because I think we're playing on a high cylinder. So I don't think they could.
Okay. And Kevin Middleton said, I just named 18 games. I'm not going to name all 72 games. I'm not going to go down the list and say what the stats were in all 72 games. I just pick some out, Kev. Just pick some out, Kev. Steph.
Oh, a friend of mine. Well, here's the thing. A friend of mine will appreciate this. I think Kevin Knox will have a bag.
Kevin Knox ain't gonna play. Steph, what do you think? Somebody who you think could disappoint.
I think I'm gonna say RJ. I mean, I would say Obi and IQ, but I don't think we have a lot of expectations of them anyway, right? So if they don't play well, I don't think people will be like, oh, we were counting on them and they didn't do it. I think RJ, I think a lot of the fans are really counting on him to come through in the series. And I think that there's a good chance, not a good chance, but there is a chance that he doesn't, that he plays very uneven, maybe 8 points one game, 19, 20 points another game, games where he doesn't play in the fourth quarter because he just is not playing well in the series. So I'm expecting that. So it's not going to be a disappointment for me. But I know some fans are expecting RJ to be the number 2 scorer on this team. I just don't think he's there yet. So I think Josh will be disappointed in RJ this series.
Yeah. G-Man?
Hey, Steph stole my answer. I was going to say RJ as well, just based on past performance over the last couple games. He has not shown the consistency in being able to give you a legitimate performance. He has streaks in games to where he's been able to knock down some significant baskets in a timely manner when we needed them. But there's just not, the whole holistic performance that we look for from a Robin to Julius Randle's Batman. And he has the potential to continue that performance throughout the playoffs. I'm hoping that he does not. I'm hoping that he gets back on track and that he's able to provide that systematic contribution to what the offense has going on. But
just to piggyback on that before Josh goes, you can't always look at his stats. If you look at the Clippers game, you look at his stats, 18.7 rebounds, whatever it is, the stats were stellar. Yep. But if you looked at him throughout that game, there was times when he played well, he hit good shots for us, and there were other times when he turned the ball over, he hit an air ball, he fouled somebody on a 3-point shot, and then he came back and hit a big shot. So if you look at the game, his performance was uneven, right? So you can't just look at the stats.
Great point.
So, if I'm understanding y'all, are y'all having concerns about RJ, or what are we saying?
Okay, for the people in the cheap seats way out back that may have trouble hearing, let me say it one more time. Okay,
I'm gonna stab you with this.
We have RJ Barrett has been put into a position as being the number 2 to Julius Randle on this basketball team.
Right.
So Julius Randle scores on a good clip. He's very consistent each game that we play. Right. We can't say the same thing about RJ. And to Steph's point, the stat line may show you that, hey, I got 18, 20 points, whatever the case may be. But when you watch the game, I'm throwing stuff at my television set when RJ catches the ball, drives to the basket, and doesn't finish. Same thing we talked about with Elfrid Payton. You drive to the basket, you don't finish. And he's not getting foul calls. He gets frustrated and then goes into a tirade or whatever the case may be, and then comes down and knocks down the big three.
Which he has every right to do that. Because if you've got to make the refs, call, at least make some calls. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
yeah, they do miss calls.
They do.
They miss a lot on him, but they miss a lot on him.
100% they do. But what you can't do is you can't let that dictate the rest of your game. So after the first couple times, you understand you're not going to get the call. So don't keep crying about it. Go play ball. You in the first quarter of the basketball game, you understand how the refs are going to call the game. And you're not going to change their mind. They're either going to put the whistle in the pocket and let you play ball, or they're going to call ticky-tack fouls. You understand that in the first quarter of the game. And you have to adjust your game accordingly and play accordingly.
All right.
Josh, did we get you? Did we get to you yet, Josh? Go ahead, Josh.
He's laying low. He's laying low.
I mean, listen, G-Man and Steph hit every pretty much every thing that I was going to say about it. It has to be RJ Barrett. 100%. You're the second best player on this team. You get, the second most minutes. At one point, second most minutes in the NBA. You got to be able to show up. And I'm not just talking about in the stat sheet. I'm just talking about the little things, the intangibles, not getting beat backdoor on backdoor cuts. Like when you were talking about some of these transition defense, you're a guard. You're already back there. You can't let that pass happen. Those passes happen. And I'm not just blaming it on him. I'm talking about all the guards in general. But that's a part of it. And also, RJ has a tendency to go invisible sometimes. Like sometimes I'm looking in the game, I'm watching these games, I'm like, damn, where the hell is RJ Barrett? Like, where is he? You know what I'm saying? That Laker game, that was a big one for me. I really didn't see much of RJ getting involved too much. What you guys said about him getting to the free throw line, I think that's very, very important. If he can get to the free throw line 5 to 6 times a game, I think that'll be awesome for RJ Barrett. That means he's being aggressive, he's getting to the hole. Now I get it, the refs have to make those calls on him. But as long as he's aggressive, I think that trends in the right direction. So for me, it has to be RJ Barrett. And not just in the stat sheet, but using his playmaking ability and his size and his strength to force some turnovers on the defensive end. So, RJ.
Let me hear a player from the Hawks that you think could surprise us.
Surprise us.
Yeah, a player from the Hawks that could surprise us and
play well.
And play well. Which a player that comes out and plays well, and we didn't really plan for this guy to play well, and he really put some pressure on us. Go ahead. I'll start with you, Josh.
I'm going to go Gallo. I'm going to go Gallinari. Dude is a 6'10 guy who can pull up from the outside. I think a lot of times we talk about Herter and we talk about Bogdanovich, but the Knicks have been getting beat. One of the things that we've been getting beat on is those big guys who can shoot. And I think that could be a mismatch problem for whoever we put out there. If it's not Randall guarding Gallo, if we're, the Hawks can manipulate the lineup to put Gallo in a favorable situation, I think that could cause us problems for us in the series. So I'm going to say Gallo.
All right. Kev?
Yeah. Before when I found out that we were playing them, the two guys that scared me the most was not even Trae or Capella. It was Reddish and Hunter. Now I just found out that Reddish isn't playing for the year. Is that correct?
He's not in this
series. The rest of the year.
Oh yes,
he's out for the rest of the year. Okay, so.
Well, the rest of the series. I'm sorry. He's out for the series. Yeah.
Okay. So now. I've kind of rethought that, and I'm going to say still pick two guys. It's between Bogdanovich and Hertel. Those two guys are scary because they can hit it from the 3, and Hertel can can drive the basketball. Those two guys, we got to really pay attention to those two.
Okay. Steph, someone you think could surprise us?
It may not be a big surprise. I'm going to say Collins. I don't expect him. I know he starts. I don't expect him to kill us, though. I expect him to be okay. He could be a surprise because if he starts hitting that three, he starts getting to the basket, he starts getting to the free throw line, he starts putting up 25 points a game, really changing the complexion of the game is going to be really tough for us. So he could be a surprise player in terms of upping his level of play in the playoffs.
Okay.
In the series.
G-Man.
I'm going to go old school. I'm going to go with Lou Williams coming off the bench. So he's only scoring 11 points per game right now. That's average. But he has the potential to get on a streak. And if his shot starts to fall, then that could cause a huge problem because then you're scrambling to the perimeter trying to cover him. That leaves somebody else opening up a passing lane to get, a high percentage shot down in the paint. So, I would rather not see him get going because he can shoot the ball at a good clip. So he could be one of the sleepers that, they always say don't poke the bear, and he could be the bear coming off the bench.
Yeah, but I think I believe that we have enough defensive guys that he can't sucker us into. You know how he used to suckers players into getting that getting up in the air and when he's shooting that three and then he winds up getting 3 foul shots and everything. I think we can be disciplined to counter whatever what he's doing. I'm not really afraid of him all that much.
I think the issue is not so much as him being able to draw the foul. I think the issue would be him making the shot.
Making a shot, yes.
And him making the shot will cause you to do something different defensively because then you have to give it. You could imagine this, right? How many games have we played till you get someone coming off the bench unsuspecting that maybe has a 12-point average for the year, and then all of a sudden you come in and torch us for 30?
Right.
That's the performance I'm afraid of. Let's say a Lou Williams coming to the game and getting hot and hitting his stride.
Right. Now, I'm going to tell you a guy that I'm a little bit worried about. And I think he's a really good basketball player. But he doesn't get a lot of, I guess he doesn't get a lot of pub as, being a Hawk right now. And he's been in and out of the lineup and things. But DeAndre Hunter, I really like the way DeAndre Hunter plays the basketball game. I think he has the ability to take it inside and outside. He can shoot the mid-range shot. I've seen some games where he's really, really killed teams with that mid-range shot. And I'm worried about that guy a little bit. I think that he could be a surprise and an X factor for the Atlanta Hawks. Now, I'm not saying that he's not going to be on the scouting report. I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the scouting report. But if they utilize him the right way, he might be a guy that we have trouble, I think, maybe matching up with.
And Sam, not just offensively, defensively. His versatility. You could put him on Randall, turn around and put him on Rose. He played Kyrie and he played LeBron. Yep. So his defensive versatility on top of that can create problems for us. Because if he can guard Randall one-on-one and create problems, that just opens things up for them, in terms of they don't have to do a double team now. They got one guy that can guard him.
Yeah. So, I think he's a guy that I'm pretty sure, listen, Derrick Rose said today that, this year Tom Thibodeau didn't give them a binder. Instead, he gave them a book. Right? a little bit of a smaller book than he normally does, but a book nonetheless, and it was more detailed than, he's done in the past. Right? So, look, Tom Thibodeau had his people out 2 weeks ago, scouting, getting together game plans and those type of things. So we know that Tom Thibodeau is going to have a game plan put together, but sometimes there's just some things that you can't really game plan for, right? If a guy starts to really light it up, a guy that you didn't expect to light it up, what do you do now? You know what I'm saying? So, those are a couple of people that could definitely, be a game changer, and they could be series changers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to get to a question that came in from a super chat, and I think it's a very good discussion point. From Afro Jedi, he said, I'm going to say Nerlens Noel as a player that could disappoint. I feel that we're going to expect him to be our anchor, but I think in a 7-game series, he could get exposed. Steph, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that Nerlens Noel could get exposed, especially going up against a guy like Clint Capella, who's such a good rebounder?
Exposed in the sense that he's going to get outplayed by Clint Capella? I mean, it's possible that he could get outplayed by him. Clint Capella is a better all-around player than he is. However, I do not expect Noel. I expect Noel to show up in the series. Remember that stretch he was on where it seemed like he was playing defense like he was on fire?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Noel that I'm expecting in this series, coming out of nowhere to block shots, getting steals, getting in position. I don't think he's going to disappoint. But would I be surprised if Capella ends with more points, more rebounds, and blocks? I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think that tells the story for Noel. You got to actually watch the game. A lot of the blocks he gets, he keeps them in play. A lot of the blocks he gets are momentum-changing plays as well. So he's going to show up for us.
Okay. What about you, G-Man? What do you think?
I think that when you say exposed, that's kind of a broad meaning. And to Steph's point, I think that we all know that Noel is a rim protector more so than he is a rebounder. So, I expect for Capella to out-rebound him on that end, on both ends of the floor, actually, which is why we talk about the guards being able to crash the boards. All we need to do is for Noel to attempt to get Capella out of position so somebody else can go with the rebound. So, and that's one of the things when you talk about, when you look at the game and you see that Noel only had 5, 6, 7 rebounds or whatever the case may be. What the stat line doesn't show you that he put a body on Capella, had him out of position to where Randall can go get the rebound, or RJ can get the rebound and go back. So I think I expect that Noel will have the same game that he's played. He will have impactful plays. But for those that look at Noel and not watch the game and how it's played, they may look at the stat line and say, well, Capella had X amount of stats and Noel had X amount of stats, so automatically Capella outplayed Noel. I think that's an unfair assessment. You watch the game and take it for what it's worth, and then evaluate Noel's play.
Okay. All right, Josh, what do you think?
I agree. I don't think that Nerlens Noel is going to disappoint. I expect Nerlens Noel to come out and play strong defensively. He's very disciplined defensively, doesn't get too careless with fouls and things of that nature. And I believe that, Nerlens Noel is going to, he's not going to obviously out stat pad Clint Capella. Clint Capella is going to get his. He's going to get his 15 points and his, 14 rebounds or something crazy like that. He's going to go get that. We probably will get out rebounded, but I do expect Nerlens Noel to hold his own against the entire Hawks team, to be honest.
Okay. Kev?
Yeah, he's the last person I'm thinking that, that's going to disappoint us. Them 5, there was a game where he had 5 blocks, right? I forget which one.
I'm pretty sure he's had a couple of them where he's had 4 or 5 blocks.
Yeah, 4 or 5 blocks. Yeah. This guy is on the defensive end. You don't have to worry about this dude. This guy is going to come ready to play, and when he gets his opportunities now, he's scoring the ball, for us and everything. When he gets those opportunities, he is far the least of a person that's going to disappoint us. Not at all. Not at all.
The only thing that I would say is if the Hawks, and I guess maybe if they haven't found out by now, they won't ever know. Unless they're just saying, hey, we're going to save this for the playoffs.
Right.
But if they realize Clint Capella is so much stronger than Nerlens Noel, he can really, we can throw him in a post and he can just body him. Then they try to isolate Clint Capella, right in the center of the lane. Boom, isolate him, get him the ball, just go up with it. Nerlens Noel might try to block it, although he is disciplined in the way that he tries to block shots. I do get a little bit concerned that they say, you know what, let's clear out one side. We'll get him the ball, move Trae Young out the way, and then let Clint Capella use his body against Nerlens Noel.
That's not his game, though, Sam. That's not Clint Capella's game. Clint Capella's game is straight up rebounding off the glass, put back up. That's his game. He doesn't have any type of offensive moves or anything like that. That's not who Clint Capella is. So I wouldn't even be concerned about that. Like, we just got to worry about taking care of the glass and trying to prevent Capella from getting those rebounds. That's the only thing I think that how Capella can affect the game. He's not a big bruising center like a Jokic or, someone or Joel Embiid or anybody like that can just move you out the way and shoot from the outside. Those are the centers that the Knicks really have problems with. But these other guys, they're going to get their rebounds, but I don't see them being that effective on the offensive end as far as their own moves and everything like that.
Yeah. Now, I agree with you that he doesn't have, like, crazy post moves and footwork and all of that kind of stuff. But if you're stronger and, you have more size than someone, you might not need all of that. You might be able to post yourself up in a good position, get the ball, and go up. Mm-hmm. I guess we will see how that works out when it comes to Nerlens Noel and Clint Capella. Obviously, the screen and roll is an issue. That's a big issue. You know what I'm saying? Now, will he get exposed in the screen and roll? We seen the clip that I showed last night where Nerlens Noel took the little quick stab at Trae Young. Trae Young found Clint Capella. Boom. In that last game that we played the Hawks, we couldn't stop Clint Capella and Trae Young in that screen and roll. And, of course, Nerlens Noel was guarding Clint Capella. So that is interesting. We will see how that goes right there, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I'm hoping that Nerlens Noel holds his own, doesn't get bodied, continues to play great defense and anchor our defense. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
I am expecting to see a lot more Taj, though, against that pick and roll. I feel like he's a better pick and roll defender than Nerlens Noel, in my opinion, based on watching the two when they're out there. Because Taj, he's veteran, definitely crafty, definitely knows how to anticipate those passes and everything like that. So I expect Taj Gibson to be out there against the pick and roll more than Nerlens Noel, or at least equal time, no split time at the position.
Yeah. And listen, we got clearly we have an Atlanta Hawks fan in here, right? Joe Sears. Joe Sears. The fact that y'all don't know where the number one in the league in the pick and roll, blah, blah, blah. We get it. We talked about that a long time ago, Joe. Hey, Joe, why don't you do this for me, Joe? Why don't you just do this? Why don't you go around Atlanta and ask your fans to show up to the game so that it's not 50% Knicks fans when we go to Atlanta? And, why don't you go do that instead of, just trolling us? Instead of trolling us here, why don't you go get your fans to show up to State Farm Arena? Joe?
3-point goal, Simeon Russell.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a tight game in Oakland. 97-95, the Memphis Grizzlies are up. And, Golden State's trying to make that last push to make sure they get in the playoffs. It's 1 minute and 20 seconds left, and I might be a little bit behind some people. Steph Curry has the ball out at the top of the key, goes to the basket, lays it up, but he got fouled. He's going to the line. Minute 12 left, 97-95. I doubt Steph Curry is going to miss these two free throws, but I guess for the last couple of minutes of this game, we might as well go ahead and, we'll focus and talk about this game a little bit. Then we'll get back to talking about some Knicks versus Hawks and see what Joe Sears has to say. There is Joe. Joe. There is a phone line that you can call, Joe. If you got something to say about your Hawks.
Oh my goodness.
The game is what? ESPN?
The game is on ESPN right now. Yeah, on ESPN. And if the Hawks win this game, they'll be playing the Utah Jazz in the first round. I'm sorry, if the Hawks. If the Golden State Warriors win this game, they'll be playing the Utah Jazz in the first round. Obviously, if the Memphis Grizzlies win this game, they'll be playing the Utah Jazz in the first round as well.
Did Valanciunas foul out the game? Why was he not in the game?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm not listening. He may have fouled out the game. He may have fouled out the game on that play where Steph Curry just went to the basket. He may have fouled out. So now it's a minute 10 left. Yes, Steph Curry made both free throws. Now 97-97. Ja Morant has the ball on the wing. Brings it back out top. And I forgot who number 7 is, but he's just went to the cup, floated it up. Looks like he's got fouled, and he's going to the free throw line.
Sam, he's one of the slowest NBA players I've ever seen in my life.
He is.
Oh,
he is.
Goodness.
That's Kyle Anderson. That's Kyle Anderson.
Oh,
he, slow, but one thing that I've always told people is you don't have to be super fast to be effective. All you got to do is be able to handle the ball and get to your spots. Yep. Obviously, putting the speed in there, changes a lot of things. And Kyle Anderson shoots the first one, knocks it down. Golden State is up 98-97 with 55 seconds left in the game.
When he was throwing up them shots against the Knicks, I'm like, oh my goodness.
I know,
it's like
man.
molasses.
Tell me about it. There's a couple guys in the league that shoot that way. And it's like, how does he not get it blocked?
Valanciunas did foul out.
Valanciunas found out. And Kyle Anderson knocks down the second free throw. Memphis Grizzlies are up 99-97. Steph Curry's got the balls, taking it the length of the floor. 50 seconds left in the game. Obviously, Yeah, you know what Steph Curry's doing. Screen from Draymond Green. Curry.
Give and go.
Back to Draymond. Ooh, why didn't he pull that? Draymond back to. Oh, I mean, you know what? I'll tell you what. That was a little bit sloppy, but they got it done. And Wiggins gets the little alley-oop touch layup in the lane, and Ja Morant goes to the cup. Ball's back out. Kyle Anderson at the elbow against Steph Curry, kicks it out. Ooh.
Overtime.
No, it's 9 seconds left.
Got 9.2 seconds left. Oh, you're ahead. Oh, he's ahead. Okay, so you let us know it's overtime, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry. My fault.
You let us know it's overtime.
Ball alert. My fault.
I'm back full of Eddie Murphy now from Beverly Hills Cop 2. G-Man messed up the party. Everybody go home. G-Man messed it up.
So you know it's going in overtime, but I'll tell you how it went in overtime. Steph Curry with 4 seconds gets the ball to Draymond, who goes to the cup and floats it up, and he does just what Julius Randle did against the Lakers. Missed that floater.
What's Brooks' contract situation? I would love to have him on the Knicks.
Who?
Don't say that, Steph. Don't do it.
Dylan Brooks.
She didn't say Westbrook. See that? He got all happy.
Dylan Brooks. This guy plays hard. This is a Knick player type of player.
He is.
Yeah, I wonder what his contract situation is like.
Dylan Brooks gives us fits every time we play him.
Sure does.
Every time we play him, he gives us. He's physical. He's tough. He's physical. He gives us fits every time we play him.
He don't need to be out there. He need to be in the national market. He need to be with us.
Yeah, I like him. I like he got good size too. He can get the three, and every time you see him, he's serious.
He got game.
He's serious.
He got game. He got game.
Yeah, he definitely does. And I don't know, can Memphis, without Valanciunas, can Memphis pull this out in overtime? I guess that's the question. I mean, the thing is, Golden State's not big, but they basically give up their advantage. They no longer have that size advantage. Let me get to a phone call. This might be Joe Sears. Calling you live. What's popping?
What's happening? This is Joe Sears.
Joe Sears. We said it was Joe Sears. What's going on, man?
What's going on? What's going on, everybody, man? How y'all doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm excited, pumped up for Sunday.
Can't wait for Sunday. How are you guys feeling about this series, man?
I look at it like this, Atlanta, we don't get no respect from nobody. Like we had a worse record, I think, last year than y'all. So, and this year coming in, the things we've done, the things we overcame. is going like unnoticed. And but my main
Can't hear him.
We lost you. We lost you, Joe. I don't know if you stepped away, but we lost you a little bit.
Oh man. Hello,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
My question to y'all.
Still can't hear.
What's going to be the Knicks game plan on offense? And second, what would be the plan of the Knicks guarding Atlanta pick and roll?
So, all right. So I heard enough. And if you didn't hear, he said, what is the Knicks plan on offense and how are we going to defend Atlanta's pick and roll? So I broke down Atlanta's pick and roll the other day because it's definitely deadly, right? And we looked at some things that we need to do to defend it. Are we going to switch? I don't know. I think Tom Thibodeau is going to have a game plan and then be ready to switch up and probably have 2 or 3 different game plans if one of them doesn't work, right? I think the key is going to be that communication piece between, whoever's in the screen and roll, right? Your point guard, those backside guys, making sure you have good communication there. Maybe they'll switch, but of course, if you switch, then you're going to end up with Trae Young on a Julius Randle or Nerlens Noel, and that could be trouble for them. You know what I'm saying? That could definitely be trouble for them. So that pick and roll is definitely something to deal with. No doubt about it. Not only is it just the pick and roll, but then you got shooters out there that can knock it down, which makes that pick and roll so much more effective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, but I'm about to throw a wrench at you. Okay, let's just say what the Knicks gonna do if the Hawks switch to a zone defense?
Well, we've been playing against a zone defense all season. So in the beginning of the season, that zone was hurting us. Towards the end of the season, teams played less and less zone against us because we were able to break the zone. Because now we listen, we're shooting the ball. I think we're at least top 5 in the league in 3-point percentage now. So y'all can go zone if you want to. But Reggie Bullock's going to knock it down. Julius Randle shooting 41%. Alec Burks is shooting 38 to 40%. Emmanuel Quickly is shooting a high percentage from 3. Even Derrick Rose picked up his 3-point percentage. So, I think we can. We've learned how to deal with that zone, I think.
Yeah, but I just look at it like it's going to be a tough battle from both sides of the field. I think our offense is too deep. And the thing is, we have a deep rotation.
You do? You do?
We play a 10-man rotation to keep our body fresh.
Yeah, you do. You got a deep rotation, but we got a deep rotation too. And we like one of the top 5 defensive teams in the league, man. Say that again.
Y'all still have to debate about the point guard.
That's us having a debate. Tom Thibodeau ain't having that debate. That's just the fans having a debate. Tom Thibodeau's not having that debate though. But hey, let me let you go, Joe, because it's kind of breaking up, kind of going in and out.
Okay.
Hey,
man.
I appreciate you, but listen, I'm gonna be looking forward to you calling in before and after every game.
I got you.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Say less.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, I hope we get more Hawks fans calling in because, especially after we beat them. The Memphis Grizzlies are up 107 to 106. Steph Curry got the ball. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in overtime. Gets the ball to Andrew Wiggins, who pulls up the mid-range. He misses. Kyle Anderson tipped the ball out of bounds to Golden State's ball. Me and Tony are doing a video about Andrew Wiggins. I'm interested in Andrew Wiggins. I'm not going to lie.
He's unrestricted?
I think he's still under contract. I don't know how long his contract is left. He's making like $28 million a year or something like that. But listen, he can shoot the 3. He can create off the dribble. He can play defense. I'm just my interest is piqued with that kid.
So I called in the offseason and I mentioned about a trade for Andrew Wiggins at the expense of Mitchell Robinson, and I got destroyed for it. by Sim, by Kev. Oh, Kev was up in arms. Oh, it was like, oh my goodness, like why would you do that? Why would you do that? And it's funny how things come back around and people actually see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
I agree.
But
I
it's a
love the
different
thing.
team. But I just think it's a different team now because at that point, it's like, we're gonna pay him $30 million a year. Is he got that guy that takes us even part way to the playoffs? But now we're a team that we're in the playoffs with 41 wins. And by the way, that last win of the season put us 10 games over 500. The largest amount of games we had over 500 all season long, right? Double digits over 500. But I just think it changes, right? The perspective has to change a little bit because at that time you're like, are we really going to dump $28 million into Andrew Wiggins a year? Or are we going to save that money for an all-NBA player? But now Julius Randle is an all-NBA player, and I think he could be a good complementary piece. Still makes a lot of money for 18 points per game, but
and
he does play defense.
His game has gotten better, too.
Yeah, his game has gotten better. He plays smarter. He could do some things that Reggie Bullock can't do, but he can also play defense. So, him
and RJ on the wing, that Canadian Toronto connection on the wing right there.
Yeah, I mean, that could be.
And I would like some length opposite RJ.
Right, because I think Bullock is 6'6". Just having two guys that are 6'7" out there, that's good. Draymond Green kicked it over to, I don't even know that guy's name, but Steph Curry pulls a three. He misses. It bounced around the rim and he missed it. And I'm not sure who that was either, but he knocked down the three. It's now 109-107. Golden State with 1:49 left as Ja Morant advances the ball up the floor. Gets a screen. Nope. Fake screen from Kyle Anderson. Ja Morant gets the ball back from Kyle Anderson. Ja Morant, listen, here's one thing with Ja Morant, who spins in the lane, kicks it out for three, knocked it down.
That's
man,
Bane.
They're going back and forth, man. What'd you say?
That's Desmond Bane, ain't it?
Desmond Bane. I think it was Desmond Bane. 110-109 Memphis. Draymond Green advances the ball up the floor. One thing about Ja Morant, he's still small now, and Andrew Wiggins pulls the three, missed bad. But he's still small, and I think teams can bump him around a little bit, take him off his block a little. So the Grizzlies,
Tillman.
That was Tillman. Okay. So the Grizzlies have a chance right now to get a little bit of separation. As Ja Morant comes off the screen, but he can't find anything. 3 seconds left on the shot clock. He goes to the cup.
You about to take that.
Tear drops it in.
Yeah.
Tear drops it in. 112-109 with 46 seconds left. And Golden State could be missing the playoffs for their second time in 2 years. And Steph Curry creates a foul, but it looks like that's on the floor. Yeah, think about it. The Golden State Warriors, if they lose this game, will miss the playoffs twice in the last 2 years. A team that was, had a dynasty going.
Injuries.
Andrew Wiggins kicks it back out to Draymond. Draymond doesn't want to shoot the basketball.
Looks like
my
Obi.
goodness. Oh, my goodness. That's a bad turnover right there. He doesn't want to shoot the ball. He's been open a couple of times. He refused to let it go from three. Maybe he's just not confident in the shot, or he just wants to make sure he finds the right person shooting. But sometimes you got to let it go, as the Warriors look to trap Grayson Allen, but they break the press pretty easily. Ja Morant up at the top of the key. 19 seconds left in the game. 14, 13, 12 left on the shot clock. And if the Warriors get the ball back, there'll be about 4 seconds left. If they get the rebound off of this shot here. But Ja Morant with a big bucket, and I think that's the game.
Oh, that's it.
I think that's the game. That's the game. Nobody knocking him off his block tonight. I tell you that. That was a big bucket. Big bucket right there. 114, 109. I think that was in the books. Steph Curry's going home. The Golden State Warriors. And they missed the playoffs for the second time in 2 years. That's a beautiful move right there from Ja Morant. Boom, goes back, spins, floats it in. Can't teach that stuff. Can't teach that stuff right there. I don't know. What do the Warriors do?
They just got to wait for their players to get back healthy. They got to wait for Clay to get back.
I think they need more than that, though. You don't think?
I think they probably need more than that.
To make the playoffs, so they needs to get Clay back. Obviously, they're going to need more contributions from everyone else, and they need to add another player to the roster. But I think they're cap strapped, so I don't know how much further they can go. But as long as they have Clay and Steph, I think they'll be okay, and they'll be competitive in the playoffs. I don't expect them to get back to the finals though.
How do you know
they start tearing it down at some point?
At some point, man.
No,
Curry's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't go away from Clay and Steph. As long as you got those two, I think you always gonna have a chance. I do think they need to trade Wiggins to get that contract off the books. I think that's what they need to do because he's making way too much money for his production. And I think Draymond also might be on his way out. But Clay and Steph, you got to keep those two guys, those pieces intact. You can't move away from those two.
But the window is closing, though.
It is.
Yeah, that window is closing, man. Because you don't even know how Clay's gonna come back, and the Warriors just knocked down a big three. 2.2 seconds left. 114, 112. But I pretty much think this is going to be in the books. We don't even know if Klay Thompson is going to be, what's he going to look like when he comes back? He's been off for almost 2 years.
I guess this is the way I feel about it. I'm still salty that Knicks traded away Patrick Ewing. so I think, yes, I think you're right as far as the window closing, but you can't just trade away your two franchise players like that. I mean, you got those 3 championships already, and you just let them ride off into the sunset with your team. You don't trade those guys away. I'm that kind of fan. So
I get that, but I mean, they're gonna have to, if they're gonna keep those guys on the books and pay them, they're gonna have to clear some contracts if they want to retool.
And they got to retool quick with veterans. So
yep.
What's the sense of having? Don't they have what's his name picks coming up? They potentially can have Minnesota's pick. What's the sense of having these young players? If you're going to go all in this short window, you have to do what the Lakers did.
Yeah, I mean, because they got a short. How old is Steph Curry? 32.
32, yeah.
32 years old. Yeah, they definitely got a short window. I'm not gonna, I'm sure he'll play till he's maybe 38 years old. Something like that, but still, that's 6 years. You don't have time to truly rebuild with them guys there. So, I don't know. I don't know what they do, but maybe Andrew Wiggins will be available. What's his contract like? And when is it? Yeah, like 30 a year, but when does it expire?
Dylan just signed his contract. He's not a free agent until 2023.
And the Warriors going to play the foul game, 114, 112, 1.7 left. What do you guys think about the play-in? What do you guys think about the play-in games? How do you feel about it?
I love it. I mean, it depends on who the teams that you have in there. You know what I'm saying? I think we were lucky enough to have LA and Golden State in there for the first time second time that we're trying it out. But I think it could be modified a little bit. Maybe if the difference in seeding as far as games are concerned are a little bit smaller, I think that would be necessary to have a play-in game. But if it's like a big, how do you say it, differential between the amount of games won between the 7th and 8th seed or 8th or 9th, I think there'll be no need for a play-in game at that point. So they can modify it a little bit.
Right.
Make it better.
Yeah. I'm sure they will. And listen, it's just another revenue maker for the NBA. One, you have at least 2 teams that are going to get, you're going to have 3 teams that are going to play 2 extra games every year, right? So if you play 82 games, you're going to have 3 teams or 6 teams actually that play 84 games. That's a lot of revenue for the stadiums. A lot of revenue for the stadiums. And then, of course, like this year, I think it was it the State Farm play-in tournament? You'll be able to name, get sponsorship for the tournament and stuff like that. Revenue maker. It's definitely a revenue maker for the NBA. And it's fun and exciting, and I think it leaves, just more teams with the ability to make the playoffs or feel as if they can make the playoffs. So the games are better towards the end of the season. You got teams battling to. It just adds some intrigue, right?
Less tanking.
You got teams who are battling for. They want to be in the 7th, and if you can't be in the 6th spot and make the playoffs, then now you at least got to be in the 7 and 8 spot, so you get 2 chances to make the playoffs.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I think it definitely adds a little bit of intrigue to it. And
Wiggins has 2 years on his contract after this year at 31.5 and 33.6.
He's making a lot for that 18 a game. I can tell you that. Making a lot of money for that 18 points per game. I don't know. You think is he worth it? I mean, he definitely adds some things that you need, but is he worth it?
How much cap will we have left?
I don't know.
And he's coming into his prime too, so he definitely fits the window.
He's 26 years old. 26 years old, coming in, just coming into his prime now. When he was playing for Minnesota, he was averaging 23 points a game for a couple of years. He was right there around 20 points a game. I don't know.
Bray didn't play?
Who?
Bray looks like he was on the bench. He fouled out or he didn't play?
Who's that?
Oubre for
I don't know.
Warriors.
Oh, with the fishnet shirt on?
Yeah, he was.
He didn't play?
He was hurt. He didn't play. No, he was hurt. He was hurt.
The fishnet.
Yeah, with the fishnet.
Sound like that song by Morris Day. Fishnet.
That's the first thing I thought about when he said fishnet.
Right. Bricks Nation said, "Hell no, he threw nothing but bricks tonight." I mean, that's tonight, but for the majority of the season, he's been shooting well. Shooting 40% from 3, just about 40, maybe 38% from 3. I think he's shooting 50% from the field. He's been shooting well. And we're not talking about Andrew Jones. We're not talking about replacing RJ with Wiggins. You're talking about adding a 3-man next to RJ.
Right.
That
somebody
boosts.
with some length and some height.
Exactly. And can play defense and still knock down the 3 and do some of those things. Can do what Reggie Bullock does, but also create his own shot. That's what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah. And he'll get better under Tibbs.
Yeah. He played under Tibbs for 1 season, 2 seasons. And
had his best season.
He had his best season under Tibbs. Yep. Had his best season under Tibbs.
So when Tibbs was at Minnesota, who was really the problem then? Because you had him and Towns, they were talking about how they weren't tough enough.
I think with that, it was because Jimmy Butler didn't get along with the other players that were on the roster. I think at the end of the day, Tibbs tried to make it work, but I think him being the president of basketball operations, running the personnel thing, and the coach at the same time kind of really affected that. Now, Jimmy Butler, I think Jimmy Butler's a hell of a player, but I think he was too much.
He's hard to play with? You think he's hard to play with?
Well, in that situation, I think he was. You know what I mean? It's just that the players just didn't mix well. I believe you can win with Jimmy Butler, and I believe you can win with Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. It's just those group of players just didn't match up well with one another.
Combustible.
Yeah. Why do people assume that we're talking about replacing RJ with Wiggins?
See, that's the mentality. That's the mentality that they, Knick fans think.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about upgrading that 3 position.
Exactly, that 3 position. That 3.
We're not talking about replacing RJ. It's upgrading that 3 position. But you know what? For this season, for the remainder of this season, for these playoffs, we're not upgrading anything except for hopefully our play when we get into the playoffs. So, we'll.
Luca's coming in now. Come on now. Once he clears the 6-day protocol, he gonna come in.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I'm gonna head out of here, guys. It's 12 o'clock. Been on for about 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, just real quick, G-Man, you can't say nothing, all right? Because you hung me on the line today and said, come and get him. Come and get him. That's what you said. You said, come and get him. I got no words for you.
What happened was
Barabbas. Barabbas.
There was a plank in the ship, and you stepped out on the lamb there.
No, you had the sword and was pointing shit off the plane. So no word.
All right, well, I'm gonna head out of here, guys. I appreciate your time. Thank you for sticking it out with me tonight. It's 12 o'clock. I'm gonna go get some rest and get ready for this tournament tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be at a tournament for most of the day tomorrow, so I'm gonna go get some rest and get ready for that.
Good luck for that tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully we go out there and play well. That's all I want to do is just play well. The things that we've been putting in place, I want to see us do it. That's all. Not even worried about if we win. I just want to see us do it.
The basketball gods were shining upon you because our Knick game is until Sunday night. So they were shining upon you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So you have to offer a sacrifice.
Right. So I did already. I gave him that dusty ass Knicks hat. Anyway, I'm out of here, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for rocking with me tonight. And I'll be back. Probably not Saturday unless I just jump on from the tournament and do something quick. Most likely I'll be back on Sunday doing a game preview. Then, of course, doing a post game. So make sure that you join me there, ladies and gentlemen. Out of here. Be peaceful. Spread love as usual.